She would practice her answers every day, every day. Just like, don't you think Virat Kohli practices every day? Don't you think any actor would practice before he starts filming? Similarly, she would practice her answers very well. All it takes is one more hour of extra, work that you have to do at home. You have to write and practice. Unless you write and practice and show your answers, it's quite difficult to get 100 out of 100 in English. Because once your paper, I have worked in various capacities in valuation camps. Once your paper, last bench students, last bench, second boy, please get up. Once your paper reaches 78, it will go for reviewer. He'll start looking sentence by sentence. He'll start marking if you're, made a mistake in preposition or a link or everywhere. So he'll start cutting the marks. And he'll also be worried about length of the answer. So now, first year students won't find it very hard because this year itself they have changed the question paper pattern. For us, this is quite difficult. Board has played a googly just like Ashwin did in the recent test series. All of a sudden in September, October, board has come up with a new pattern of the question paper. We have to understand the new pattern of the question paper before we go and get 100 out of 100. As I said, 5 students have got. Whereas look at that, Kannada, 2,570 students have got 100 out of 100 last year. And look at other subjects. In mathematics, 6,960 students have got 100 out of 100. In chemistry, probably these students are commerce. So in, where's commerce? Yeah, in business studies, 293 students have got. Whereas in 2023, it was 2,280 students have got in business. So this is to show anything is possible. In any subject, you can get 100 out of 100. There are students who have done that. If one student has done that, even you can do it. That's the confidence you should build up. See, our target is centum. How to get 100 out of 100. For that, see, there are 2 components in our 100-mark exam. One is writing exam that we write for 80 marks, and the other one is internal assessment. If you want 20 out of 20 in your internal assessment, you have to study from the beginning of the academic year. Because in every test, if you manage to score very well, then only you will get 10. The other component that is there in the internal assessment. Internal assessment 20 marks is again divided into 2 components. One is assignment that you submit. The other one is the SATS portal itself calculates based on your performance in your tests and exams. Right? For every 4 marks that you score in a test of 40 marks, you will get it will calculate as 1, and for every 8 marks that you get in midterm examination, it will calculate as 1. So if you want to get 10 out of 10 in your internal assessment, the third component where your test marks and midterm examination marks are calculated, then you should start studying from the academic year itself, beginning of the academic year itself. So assignment and projects, the board has come up with this to show that there are multiple type of students, diverse students in the classroom. That's why they have come up with assignments. And remember, focus should be on learning and not testing. So this is the key for teachers. Even if the assignment should be while valuing the assignment, especially teachers should know the focus should be on learning, not testing. You should not test their assignment. You should know whether they have sincerely given an effort. Then you should give 10 out of 10. That's what the board says. If you think you can't do it, tear up that can't. You can do it. Now, if you think you can do it, there's a small activity for you. There are 9 dots. You have to join using 4 straight lines. Can you do it? Go ahead, do it. If you could see, there are 9 dots on the screen. All you have to do is use 4 straight lines and join every dot. You have to use only 4 straight lines. What about the, oh, no, yeah, no overlap. You should not, yeah, what about the middle one?
You should not take your hand overlapping.
What about the middle one? You should join all the dots, 4 straight lines, no overlapping, which means you should not write on the same line again.
Once you start, you have to complete.
You did it. How? How many lines are there? Thank you. You're good in maths. How many lines? How many lines? Let us not waste over that. Oh my God. Sorry, see, you can do it like this. Or else, I'll show you. All you have to do is begin from here, come little out, then go like this. Again, you have to go out. You can join. What I'm trying to tell you is, I did not say you can't go out of the box. That's exactly what requires. You can go out of the box, you can do it. And look at the design that you get, a arrow, a upward arrow, which means what? You can achieve something. All you have to do is, to achieve something, you have to go out of the box. Just like I demonstrated in the beginning of my session, that once the text supports you to think out of the box, just like Raven's image or symbolism, you have to think out of the box. All you have to do is begin from here, go a little outside, and go here also a little outside, come back. So that's exactly you should bear in mind. So we are well aware of the division of the 80 marks. 40 marks from course book, 40 marks from grammar. Right? So now, this is new part of the question paper, is the most scientific question paper we have got in recent years since the introduction of the textbook. Ma'am, I'll come there. That will be fine, no? If you are uncomfortable there, come and join me there.
Huh?
Chetan, come. So, look at this. This is the most scientific question paper we have got. Thank you. Look at this. This is how your question paper, has some kind of weightage framework that they have brought into question paper. Earlier, thank you. Earlier, the question paper may have, a question paper setter may give 4 marker from Romeo Juliet, 6 marker from Romeo Juliet, and may not include a question on water. Something like that would have happened before, earlier. Now, from this year, this is exactly what your question paper weightage will look like. For every 60 hours, for every hour you spend in your classroom, there will be 1 mark question in your question paper. For every 1 hour that you spend in your classroom, which means what? Any second PUC student has to spend 120 hours in his classroom. So for every 1 hour that you spend in your classroom, you will be given 1 mark question in the question paper. Which means what? For Romeo and Juliet, there will be only questions on 3 marks. On 2D, teaching hours is 5, questions would be for 5 marks. For a lesson like Sunday morning, if the teaching hours are 8 marks, the questions would come for 8 marks. Similarly, in grammar portions as well, tense should be taught for 2 hours, there will be at least 1 mark on that. And comprehension prose 6 marks, there will be 9 marks. Because what they have done is, they have combined these two, comprehension prose 6, comprehension poetry 12. Put together, it's 18 marks. So they have equally divided into 9 and 9. So you have an internal choice there. This is how it does. Please don't write down, I'll share it with you people. I'll share this with you. I'll share this with you. So this is how your question paper weightage framework looks like. This is exactly how your question paper weightage looks like. Okay? And look at this. All you have to remember is this one. Board has come up with model question papers. In the model question paper 1, look at this. Romeo Juliet for 3 hours, he has given questions on 3 marks. For 3 marks. Whereas 2 year, he has included only 1 4-mark question. Don't worry about the rest of the quiz. Only you have to worry about these two, red mark and the black mark. What I have marked here. So this 1 mark he has given elsewhere. Like he has included for on children, he has asked for 5 marks. So instead of 3, he has taken 1 mark from 2 year and he has equalized that. So probably in your paper, 1 or 2 marks difference would be there for each chapter. But put together, every chapter, every lesson, every poem will have equal weightage in your question paper. So if you are still thinking of skipping 1 or 2 lessons, it's quite impossible. You have to read everything. You know, you are very aware. There are 14 lessons in your textbook. So from all the 14 lessons, there will be a question. Earlier it was not so. Earlier, a question paper setter may have 1 or 2 questions from Sunny Morning. He would have left Boris lesson. I believe books will never disappear. Or heaven, he might have asked for 1 mark. It's not going to happen. So if you want to score 100 out of 100, all the lessons are equally important. All the lessons would be given equal weightage. Look at the model question paper 2. There also it is quite similar. There also it's quite similar. For every chapter, equal weightage is given. There may be 1 or 2 marks difference. Marks are not in the question paper. See, for Romeo and Juliet, for 3 marks, 3 hours, he has given 4 mark question. Almost same. These are the model question paper blueprints. So you have to read, you have to be thorough with all the lessons. Thank you, Sidhu. See, this is what we have to understand. The question paper is set for 120 marks, whereas the student is expected to answer only 18 marks. 50% of the marks is given as a choice. You will have 40 marks choice. 20 marks in the course book, 20 marks in the grammar section, you will have choice. Which means what? For every hour, you should be given 1 mark question. But you will also have a choice. The weightage of marks is proportionate to the number of teaching hours. That's exactly what I am trying to tell you. Question on language item grammar can be chosen from any lesson or unit in the course book, workbook, but 2 grammar items, which means what? Passive form of the verbs, if they choose from gardener, linkers question can't be asked from gardener. Am I clear? There are various grammar units, you know that, linkers, expressions. So each grammar item should be chosen from different lessons. And one more thing there, what they have made is, from this year, grammar lessons or grammar questions need not be textual. That's what they are trying to tell us. What do you mean by need not be textual? They can be outside the text as well. They can be outside the text as well. Passive form, I'll show you how the questions would come. Grammar questions, especially expressions, linkers, passive forms, can be asked outside the text as well. Which means expressions would be same. Sorry. You know there are certain expressions in Japan and Brazil through travelers like all and sundry, leaps and bounds, something like that, or in a fix in gardener. Got it? Expressions would be same. The questions would be from outside the text. I'll show you, I'll give you some examples. And if you want to score 100 out of 100, there are two sections that are very important. Part B and Part D. Part B almost carries 30 marks and Part D carries almost 30 marks again. Part B and Part D are quite important for you. Okay? Part D has, these are the internal choice in grammar sections. Whereas Part C has a question number 30 that has an internal choice. One would be unseen passage. Whatever I have marked in red would be internal choice. Both of them carry equal marks, 9 marks each. You can answer either one of them. And one more thing, in other colleges, when I went for presentation, they asked me whether they could whether they would answer Part A in one question and Part B in another question. You are free to do that. Am I clear? Every question has two parts. All these questions. For example, question Part C, fifth main, question number 30 has two parts, A and B. You can either answer A in that and B. Whereas when you go for question number 30, even that has two parts, A and B. You need to, it is not mandatory that you should answer only Part A in all the questions. You can make your own choice, depending upon how easy it is or how difficult it is. Am I clear? You can answer any one part in any one of the questions. Question number 31 has choice for 4 marks. One is linkers, the other one is redirected, where they'll ask for question forms, articles, prepositions. They are the questions they are going to ask. Part D, again, question number 32 has two questions. One is framing questions, another one is error identification. These are the questions that we have learned from class 10 itself. Framing questions, they'll ask question tags. There will be a question on WH question or yes or no question. Whereas error identification we learned in first year POC. Again, Part E, question number 36 has an internal choice. One is job application, the other one is speech writing. You can answer either of the two, any one of them you can answer. If you still have some doubts regarding job application, I'll answer that too in my presentation. If you still think, if you're a little unclear whether writing a resume or a biodata is mandatory, that also my presentation cards. See, question number 1 to 10, we are in Part A. Question number 1 to 10 we are discussing now. There are 10 MCQs that they are going to ask, right? These 10 MCQs can be chosen from any of the 14 lessons or any units. Earlier it was mandatory for them to choose at least 3 from the poems. But now it is not that. It is not so. 10 MCQs can be chosen from any of the 14 units. Okay? 1. Number 2, quite important. Out of 10 questions, at least there will be 3 questions which are competence-based. Now what is this competence-based questions? Competence-based question number 1 is something like this, where you have to match the column A and column B and then answer. Okay? And those are the straightforward questions, 1 and 2, question number 1 and 2. Competence-based questions would be something like this, where you have to match the columns A and B and then write the answer. Okay? I suppose you know the answers. And competence-based questions can be like this as well. Competence-based questions can be like this as well. Question number 4. They'll give you a sequence and you have to choose the right sequence from a particular lesson. Am I clear? Or then there can be a question like this as well, where statement would be given and you have to ascertain whether the statement and reason are correct or wrong. Okay? Look at question number 5. Marcus Ibe left mission school teacher's job and joined politics. And the reason is Marcus knew he had a bright future in politics. Both the statement and the reason are wrong. Statement is false, but the reason is true. Statement is true, but the reason is wrong. Both statement and reason are true. So C is the answer. So there can be a competence-based question like this in your question paper. And this is one more question, just an example to show how the sequential type of question would come. And this is something that the board has come up yesterday. Yesterday they have given. I'm sure yesterday board has come up with a model question bank in which these type of questions are mentioned. Probably yesterday, last night, the board has come up with a. Our lecturers must be aware of it. So your competence question can be like this. Analogy type of question. Look at question number 7. Complete the analogy with reference to everything I need to know I learned in the forest. Terra nullis means empty land, terra magna means what? Mother. So look at the question number 8. Complete the analogy with respect to interview with Boris. Flowers, women, this is the question taken from metaphors that Boris refers to. There are 6 types of metaphors, that's what Boris says. So flowers and women, life and dreams. So answer is dreams. So there can be a question like this in your board examination. And there can also be a question like this where according to Boris, which segment in Emily Dickinson's line elicit emotion? So answer is D. So these are the 4 type of competence questions that you may get in your board examination. So you must be aware of that. And question number 11. After question number 11 is on passive forms. I suppose you know the answers very well, right? Usually they'll ask from passive forms itself. They won't ask active form of the verb. Usually there will be a question on passive forms. Would you like to hear a joke? I know, I could guess that. Before we proceed further, I just thought I'll tell you a joke because it is becoming a little monotonous. You know what? While some of the students here, girl students, are pondering their head over passive form of what can be the answer for passive forms. Let's hear a joke. Are you aware of Bill Clinton, by the way, anyway? Have you ever heard of a name called Bill Clinton? Bill Clinton. He was the most handsome, United States president. He was better than Trump. Okay. Once it so happened that his counterpart, Yashiro Mori, look at his word, how nice it is. Yashiro Mori was a prime minister of Japan. Got it? And Yashiro Mori wanted to go and meet Bill Clinton. And Yashiro, you know where Japan is, right? I chose this joke because you people are quite aware of where Japan is because we have studied that Japan and Brazil through travel design. And the journey from Japan to America is very long. As Yashiro Mori sat in his plane and going to America, you know there are 2 countries that are very parochial in their use of language. You know what I mean by parochial? Language enthusiasts. They speak only their native language, mother language. China and Japan. Japanese do not speak English. They say if you want to do business, learn Japanese. So Yashiro Mori doesn't know how to speak in English. So he was, taking along a couple of translators. And the journey is quite long. Translators went to him and said, well, Mr. Mori, when you meet, you're going to meet one of the most powerful presidents in the world. If you cannot converse 1 or 2 sentences in English, don't you think he'll feel very bad about it? So Yashiro Mori said, just like you people are in the beginning of the presentation, quite enthusiastic. He said, come on, teach me English, I'll learn. So the first translator said, sir, when you go and meet the President of the United States, the first thing you would do is you have to shake hands with him and you should say, how are you? There's a custom, right? Remember in our LKG classrooms? Good morning, ma'am. How are you, ma'am? We would not wait till the teacher said good morning. It would come continuously. How are you, ma'am? Good morning, ma'am. That's how we did. So I'm not an LKG student anyway. I studied in Kannada medium. Anyway, Yashiro Mori was like, he went to cockpit. Cockpit is the most silent, zone in the entire airplane. He sat there, learned it by heart. How are you? How are you? How are you? And he came back. Now next what? They said, when you say how are you, immediately President will say, I'm fine, thank you. And he'll also ask back, right? How are you? That's a custom. So what should I say? They said, me too, thank you. Okay, that's done. He learned that. He went there. And it's also custom there in America that visitors should go to White House. President won't come to airport like what we do in India. So he went there. Bill Clinton was standing there with his wife Hillary Clinton. And there were a couple of his staff and everyone was there. Yashiro Mori went to him, reached out to the president, shook his hands and he said, who are you? Instead of how are you, he said, who are you? Remember a silly mistake like we do in our examination. Instead of using for, we use about as a preposition. He just reversed W and H and said, who are you? But at least Bill Clinton looked at him. He held his hand very tight manner. Look at this moron, he thought. You know what a moron is? Look at this fool. He has traveled all the way from Japan to meet me and now he's standing in front of me and asking who am I? Anyway, Bill Clinton was also known for his sense of humor. He said, I'm Hillary's husband. He laughed off. But this guy remembered the second one correctly. He said, me too, thank you all. That's exactly what happens, in some of the answers that we read. So look at this. This is exactly what I was trying to tell you. This is the example I have taken from model question paper 2. Example 3, passive form. The question can be outside the text. There can be a question like this. Thank you. Or there can be a question like this, question number 6, where they can give a helping verb with the verb. Look at this, passive forms. Question number 3 and question number 6 are quite important. Question number 3 demonstrates that passive forms can be asked outside the text. Question number 6 says there can be a bouncer, like they can give a helping verb as well. In addition to, you know the answer, right? But anyway, there can't be any active verbs. They can ask only passive forms. So the answer would be, gent cycles were preferred by some women. Question number 6, I am talking about. As these have an additional power from seat to handle, a child can be seated. Answer should be can be seated. Okay? So there can be question like this. Question number 13 is expressions. Well, this also can be outside the text, but the expressions would be same. For example, look at example 3. I have taken from one of the model question papers that the board has given. Sharan wanted to purchase a mobile phone. His friends gave many suggestions. He could decide. He could not decide. He was in a fix. So these words in a fix, well words are taken from Gardner, but the context they have changed. So there can be a question like this in your board examination. Got it? Shall we go to the next slide? And question number 13 is pronouns. This is quite easy. This will be a cakewalk for you. You have to read a small passage or a paragraph, and there will be column A where pronouns are listed. Those pronouns will be highlighted in the passage, and you have to match with the nouns or noun phrases that they refer to. And this is for 5 marks. Till now, there would be no choice. All the questions are compulsory. All the questions are compulsory. Okay, got it? So, part B. This is something that you have to remember. Part B has second, third, and fourth main. Second main, you have to answer 2 markers. There will be internal choice, like 14 to 17. There will be 4 questions. You have to answer 3. Part set third main has 6 questions, you have to answer 4 for 3 marks, and fourth main has 6 questions, you have to answer 3 questions out of 6. Okay? Now, this is exactly what Sri Vidya ma'am wanted me to tell you, address you. Look at this, 3 marks. How many words should we say? How many words should we use? The board demands an answer for about 60 words for 3 marks. That is 2/3 of a page. Got it? 2/3 of a page. And answer with a brief explanation is expected. Only if you explain what is needed, that's more than enough. While for 4 marker, it seeks an answer in about 100 words. It is an increase of 20 words from earlier question papers. So 100 words means 1 full page in your answer sheet. 1 full page. 2/3 for a 60 mark, full page for the 4 mark question. And descriptive, it should be descriptive. It can be written in 1 or 2 paragraphs, not more than that. 1 paragraph you can write an introduction. You people are well aware of it. Compared to other colleges in Bangalore where they start writing about the author's name, author's introduction, you people have not written that. That's wonderful. That's exactly what the board also mandates. You need not to write about author's introduction in the beginning. No need to write that. Even if you write, you will give. It's not wrong, but no need to write that. They won't give marks for that. And it should be analytical and little evaluative, where you have to substantiate your answers from words from the text and little evaluative in your response. What do you write? Look at this. This is question number 14. 2 mark question. This is the kind of questions that you get. Name the 2 countries that recognize declared rights of nature according to Vandana Shiva. When Don Gonzalo prepares to read, he takes out things from his pocket and plays Sunny Morning. Which are they? 2 things that he takes out. Mention any 2 things in nature which make this earth heaven. Mention any 2 conflicts that Tagore wrote about. So this is the kind of bouncer you might get. Question number 19. Look at that. That's the kind of question you may get. Tagore writes about 2 conflicts. What are they? Vandana Shiva lesson, last page. Need and greed. He talks about need and greed. And one more, even I forgot. And this is the kind of questions you may get. Name the 2 wishes of the child's foot in the poem to the fruit from his child.
Compassion, conquest, and war.
Correct. And I want you to go through question number 17 in this slide. This is quite unusual type of a question you may get in your board examination. This I have taken from model question paper. He says if books disappear, surely history would disappear. Evaluate the statement of Horace Louis Boris. Will someone like to answer? You may have a poser like this. One question can be, they may ask question like this. This can be a poser for you. You have to evaluate why Boris is telling that books disappears. If books disappears, history disappears. According to Boris, books are the record of our history and memory. So that's why he says if books disappear, history disappears. So that's what the answer you have to write. The middle boy there in the second bench, would you try to answer one of question number 16 here? What does the phrase "your changing face" suggest in when you are old? Please get up. Would you like to? No, you have to. Give him a textbook. Come here. I hope you. That's exactly what you were discussing. Give him a textbook. Answer that question. And the first boy there, you will answer the next one. Read the poem and answer. Thank you. Read the poem. No need to make. Let him answer. You got the answer? At least you got the question. mistakes. When you are old, my dear, when you are old, what is boys and girls, this is exactly what we have to write for a 3 marker or a 4 marker. Look at this. A question like, why was the criminal reluctant to go away from the prison in 2D will want you to write, evaluator wants you to write an answer like this. This is exactly what is given to the evaluators in the evaluation camps. Expected answers. Expected answers. Your expected answer should have all these value points. Instead of writing about, many students tend to write about how the sentence was changed in Monaco. That is not required. Your core answer should talk about why the prisoner was reluctant to go out of the prison. See, he says he had no way to go, they had ruined his character by giving a sentence that he was a murderer, therefore the people would turn their backs on him. And then in addition to it, he's got out of working, and then he talks about they have treated him very badly. This is what you have to write in your board examination instead of writing about how the sentence was changed. That is not required. Your core answer should focus on these value points in a 4 marker and a 3 marker. And similarly, look at this. Write a note on Navadanya form. Please don't fall into the trap. When they ask you to write about Navadanya form, when they ask you to write about Navadanya form, you should not focus on Chipko moment. That is not needed. Don't fall into the trap. This is exactly what those people want you to write about. Vandana Shiva, Navadanya. She started Navadanya movement before she started Navadanya form. You know that. And Navadanya form was just a form to demonstrate whatever she has learned in Navadanya movement. Conservation of biodiversity is important for nutritional crisis. That's exactly what she wanted to do in Navadanya form. Your answer should focus on that. So that's exactly why I gave you that exercise where you people came up with different patterns. So the text is same, but the evaluators want you to write this kind of answer, a similar answer. If you write these points, you will get 4 out of 4 or 3 out of 3. Similarly, look at this, question number 20. This is quite a difficult one because we hardly get many points right. Answer this question. Donna accuses Don Gonzalo as an ill-natured man in the beginning of the play, Sunny Morning. Give reasons. How can we write this for a 4 marker? How can we answer this for a 4 marker? The points are very less. There we have to focus on how Donna Lara created her own world. A reclusive world, seclusive world with the pigeons by feeding them. Look at that. Donna Lara, she was very handsome. She was in Madrid Park, remote corner of a Madrid Park, and she has created her own world. Pigeons, breadcrumbs, that was disrupted by Don Gonzalo. Right? And he's not wrong either. It is not intentional either, because Don Gonzalo was also, was very irritated because he did not get a bench. And he suffers from gouty, a condition where he can't, bend his joints. That's why he tracks his feet as he walks along. So we have to understand that as well. It is not intentional. Though it was not intentional, but he was very rude when compared to these two. Donna Lara's responses and Don Gonzalo's responses, he was rude in his responses. That's why Donna Lara calls him an ill-natured man. That is how your answer should, that's how you should frame your answer for a question like this. Okay? What's the word changing face? Guess what? The question was, what is the meaning of changing face in the poem when you are old? What is the meaning of it? Read. Now, look at this. What are Boris' views on his mother? If there is a 4 mark or a 3 mark question, your answer should be evaluated in the sense. And mothers, when Boris talks, Boris is talking about his mother in particular, but all mothers in general. That is how you should begin your answer. So this is how you have to write it. Okay? I'm Boeing in Japan. Someone is prompting you. Good. Ask them to come here and explain. So these are more questions on that. I just want you to go through question number 26. There can be a poser like this. There can be a poser like this. How did Tamanna avenge himself in the story The Gardener? How did he avenge himself? Now we have to write about what Tamanna says, right? Tamanna says education is important, wealth is important, everything is important. In addition to it, more than anything, for a human being, revenge is important. That's why Tamanna lived. Once he decided that Basavaya is no more, he started avenging himself. So your answer should write something like that. So part C, we go to part C. This is like an unseen passage would be there, a moderate line, 9 marks. It will be for 9 marks. Done? No, you have to read. There's a wonderful poem. When you are old and grey and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read, my dear. You will understand. There will also be a poem for 9 marks. And then part D, as I said, this will be for 18 marks. I said part D is quite important for us because part D comprises 18 marks, part B has 30 marks. 48 marks comes from these two parts. So question number 31 would be article or a proposition. These are the examples. This can be outside the text as well. Something like this. Ronnie saw an old woman on her way to school. Dash old woman was singing and dancing on the little. Hira is used to come to college. By walk. In an interview. Look at this. This is the kind of poser you may get. That's why I put it there. Yeah, this is again from model question paper. A is a correct answer. Part D has a rearrangement of jumble segments that you are quite familiar with. And there can be a question on conquer, subject verb agreement, present tense. There can be a question on conquer, present tense, where subject should agree with verb. Example, the sports person along with their coach always
Follow.
See. We have diverse answers. Follow is the correct answer. Tense form of a verb, there can be a tense form of a verb. Manu. Look at this. Has been working. So there can be a question like this. Be prepared. There can be many, only once I got to values Bangalore South papers and I still remember we wondered how many students lost their marks in passive forms and pronouns. Those students who had got more than 70, then the paper was for 100 marks. Many students in Bangalore South had written wrong answers in pronouns and passive forms, not elsewhere. They did not lose marks elsewhere. They have written wonderful answers, no doubt about it. We give 4 out of 4. We do give. And my dear students, I am proud to say that I have learned many things after going for valuations. I could wonder how a student can write like this, interpret an answer like this. A real learning for a teacher begins in valuation. Some answers would be very mediocre, no doubt about it. Many answers, but some answers would be wonderful. Even we feel many a time we can't write like this. So the question number 31 is on linkers. It has an internal choice. Okay. Rewrite as directed or linkers. Any one of them you have to answer. And question number 32 is question forms. As I said, one would be on question tags. The other one is yes or no question you have to frame. Look at this. They try to uplift the weaker section of the society. Change into a question using right form of do. Did they try? The correct answer is did they try? Did they try? Did they try to uplift the weaker section of the society? Shall we go to next slide? Part D. We are still in part D. Question number 32. Error identification. There can be questions on this. Questions like this. Students were prepared well for their exams. And there can be a poster like this. Guru advised his sister. ADVISE, advice. They are given a noun form, you have to use a verb form there. And note making would be for 2 marks, not 4 marks, as it was in your midterm paper. It will be for 2 marks. A small paragraph, it's for 2 marks, note making. And it is an internal choice. Reported speech does not have an internal choice. Now, you know, reported speech, they may give a direct speech either from Sunny Morning, Voter, or I believe books will never disappear, or now, yesterday they have come up with a question bank where there are questions outside the text as well. Complete the dialogue. This is quite easy. You know, this should be a cakewalk for you. 35. Oh yeah, hi. So this is letter writing. It is an internal choice. Speech writing. Now remember, in speech writing, this is how marks are allotted. My dear students, in speech writing, this is how marks are allotted. For greeting, 1 mark. For correct use of language and development of the points that they have given, it is for 2 marks. 1 mark for cohesion. What do you mean by cohesion? Your paragraph should look as an entire whole. Same development of the paragraph should be in an ideal manner. For that 1 mark, and 1 mark for leave taking. This is how speech writing would be given, allotted marks. They allot 5 marks in speech writing, 1 for greeting, 1 for leave taking, 2 marks for your language and expressions that you use in your paragraph, and 1 mark for cohesion. This is how 5 marks are given in speech writing. And remember, your luck comes with your hard work. This is something I just rushed through. My dear students, this is something I just wanted you to focus on, but because there is no time, I'll rush through them. A lesson name, a poem, Romeo Juliet in poem. This is a frequency with which the questions are asked. Look at that. The year indicates in which year they have asked a question. For example, when in comparison, Romeo's description of Juliet's beauty, they have asked many a time about Juliet's feelings or glorification of Romeo's charm. Please ignore 6 mark questions that are not there for you. Only once they have asked about intense love for each other. And 2D is quite difficult lesson. This is the kind of questions they may ask. Look at the number of questions you have to prepare. Authorities failure to carry out death sentence, efforts of the ministers to carry out death sentence, and then benefits enjoyed by the criminal reluctance to go out of prison, gambling is a dirty business, why was prisoner offered a pension, description of Toy's kingdom. So this is a betters. And any one particular lesson you want to know? Frequency of questions? Sunny morning is quite easy. When you are old. Expression of love towards the beloved, one love being passionate, different from others. Transient nature of beauty. Now I want you to understand transient nature of beauty. What do you mean by that? Sir, how about mic? No, that's okay. Okay, that's okay. Transient nature of beauty. How do you answer that? Just think about it. Transient nature of beauty that you have to think about. See, there are 2 beautiful words in the poem. My dear students, remember, I don't know whether you have understood this poem in this particular light. The speaker of the poem his love is constant towards his beloved. He loves a pilgrim soul. And look at this line, especially stanza 1. And dream of the soft looks your eyes had once and the shadows steal. Which means what? He was in love with her when she was beautiful. Where he also says, that's exactly what your question was. Yeah, and loved the sorrows of your changing face. So transient nature of the beauty is that. When you want to answer a question on that, you have to say beauty is not permanent, but the love of the speaker was was permanent. Now the speaker was permanent. That's exactly what you have to answer. So, any other particular lesson? No, I have one more. See, this is what I wanted to tell. No, you should not. You should be there with me. Only one fool cannot stand entire 2 hours, my dear friend. You should be with me. We test their knowledge, we do not test their ignorance. So the marks are allotted for what you write. We never deduct marks for what you don't write. Okay, got it? That's exactly what happens in the evaluation. I thought I'll tell you a dog story, I didn't. I thought I'll tell you a dog story, but I won't. I'll tell them in the next session. You've been very wonderful, that's fine. So this is the directions that you have to follow. 4 minutes. Oh, sorry, this is not the, this is also. See, these are the tips. You should write legibly. Your answer should be legible. Handwriting is something very personal. At least when you write, it should be legible. The evaluator should be able to understand what you have written. If you write like that, you will get out of 4 marks. Legibility ultimately earns you the marks. Answer should be within the margins. And I still say, while you answer the 3-mark questions, when you begin from that, even if you are left out with one or two lines, do not start the next answer there. Leave that. You will be given a big booklet. It has plenty of pages. Don't mix up your answers. That is one thing. Okay? Because if your paper goes to valuation centers in Ballari or something like that, they prefer you to answer in the same sheet. Okay, one. And when you are answering questions on C passage, I think we have to see. When you are answering questions on unseen passage, all the answers should be at one page. Okay. Even if you take 2 pages, that's okay. But when you begin, you have to end all the answers there itself. And when you are answering a question on letter writing, soon after letter writing, after you write your resume, if there are few lines that don't begin any answer there, just leave it like that. That is how you should write. Write very well. Paragraph answers, question should be answered in a paragraph, especially 4 markers. Even if you write 2 paragraphs are accepted. Okay, got it? Underline the points wherever needed and quote lines if necessary from the text. That's how you can get 4 out of 4 marks. You have to solve more questions on indirect speech to get well versed with the answers. Okay. Finally, plan your time. Just relax. You know that they have reduced 15 minutes. Got it? So the question paper would be given to you and 15 minutes reading time probably would be there. You have to answer in 2 hours 45 minutes. That would be more than enough. And this is a poster for you. This is from the scheme of answer that evaluator gets, especially for question like job application. If you write a mere format, no marks would be given. For format, which means what? If you write from address to address, salutation. I somehow feel the salutation is Sir Madam. You can add dear Sir Madam. You can say, and conclusion where you mention enclosures. I did not see many students that had mentioned enclosures in the conclusion. After your signature, on the left hand side, you have to mention enclosures. You have to write about resume and photocopies of the marks cards. Enclosures are the things that you attach with job application. That you have to write. There's there in your workbook. There's a format of letter in the workbook. You can go through that. And note, biodata and resume can either be written separately or included in the body of the letter. I still ask you to write resume separately. That would be just fine. Okay. And this is especially for 4 markers. Remember, 2 marks for any 4 value points and half mark for each value point. That's what they mentioned. 1 mark for language ability and expression and 1 mark for coherence. This is something that you have to understand. What do you mean by coherence? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth bench, first point. You're the one. Okay. So now, what do you mean by coherence? I also told about cohesion while I was talking about speech writing. So coherence is something how the text has some points. For example, if you're talking about Romeo's description of Juliet's beauty, you should first write about torches, Juliet being compared to torches, then Juliet is being compared to rich jewel, then she is too dear for her, then a snowy dove, then he wants to go and touch her hand. This is what the coherence. Coherence means same order, same sequence that you have to write. If you write correct sequence, they'll give 1 mark. And 2 marks for any 4 value points, and language ability and expression 1 extra mark. So 4 out of 4 you can get if you formulate answer like this. Okay, look at this. This is one of the toppers papers where 4 out of 4 is given. This is the ideal length for a 4 marker, 1 page. You can have a look at it. 1 page, 1 page. He has written 2 or 3 lines less, that's it. That was for 80 words, not 100 words. Now it is for 100 words. You have to write 1 full page. And look at this. I wanted you to know that even if you write an introduction on an author, you will be given marks. Even if you don't write, you will be given marks. Same question, 2 different answers. One, he has written an introduction on Shakespeare. The other, he has not written anything about Shakespeare. He has given a general introduction on Lord Capulet organizing a dance party. Got it? So this is how it is. Look at this question, Marcus Ebay's question. Look at the answer he has written. It is not adhering to the word limit. I just wanted to show that valuators tend to deduct marks if you do not adhere to the word limit. It was for 80 marks that the student has written more than one and a half a page, but still he is given marks. That's exactly what I had said in the beginning of the evaluation section. We give marks for what you write. We don't deduct marks. We are quite liberal. We tend to treat every student as our own, whether we have taught them or not. This is a kind of imaginary kinship that we have when we talk about nationalism. Though we are living in Karnataka, if someone suffers in Uttar Pradesh, we feel bad for him. This is a kind of imaginary kinship. Similarly, all the lecturers who go for valuation have this. Though the student has not adhered to the word limit, he is given 4 out of 4. That's exactly what I want to tell you. We give marks for what you write. Usually we don't deduct marks. If you have that, in your mind, that thinking in your mind that it will be very strict, don't be. I mean, in the meanwhile, don't take it very easy as well. Okay. Look at this, Marcus Ebay's question. I said 2 students had got out of out last year. One student has written this answer on Marcus Ebay, almost 1 page, and the other student has 1.5 page. Okay, both have got 4 out of 4. But look at this answer; it's wonderfully written. Okay, I want to look at this answer. How much marks would you give? It has got 1.5. Why? There are many mistakes, grammar mistakes, different words she has used, new son she has used. Look at this. Go through this. This is from one of your friends. Traffic in Brazil. Answer is quite good. No doubt about it. But, but if you want 4 out of 4 in board, this is what you have to write. Same answer, but look at the language or words that the student has used. So, for everyone, for every student who scores 100 or every student who scores 35, number of hours in a day is same, but this is how you're going to use it, okay? So make use of the number of hours in a day. You're left with another 58 days, and look at this, like the student who has lot of willpower, I wish all the willpower for you to face the board exams. All the best. Thank you so much. If 1 or 2 students could come up and say, how it was, that would be wonderful. Let us not force them, sir. At least you just give me, you can just say thanks while going. If I was of little help, that would be great. I feel very happy. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very useful for us, and we understood how to answer the questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful presentation. Hope the students have understood how to answer, and a lot of their doubts could have been cleared through your presentation. Thank you so much for that. Is there any doubt? Is there any question that you would like to ask?
In the passage, there is always the last question about grammar, right, sir? So I have a doubt in that. Like, I don't know how to answer that.
My dear, the last question in the passage would be on the word formation. That you might have learned in class 10 and class 11. So, based on even usage of the words you have to use. There's no fixed way of solving that. It depends on how well we converse, how well we know English. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. Usually that will be there in the passage itself. Sorry?
Sir, the word which is there in the passage, that only we have to write off, we can use.
No. Actually, the word would be from the passage. They pick the word from the passage, you have to use a prefix or a suffix and from a new word.
Synonyms and
That they'll mention. Definitely they'll mention.
Any other doubts?
Expect a synonym or an antonym, they'll mention in the question itself.
Sir, for the question number the passage, we have to write full paragraph or only words, the answers.
See, for questions and passage, you have to answer in a single sentence. Actually, in passage, you are asking about passage,
Yes.
unseen passage. There will be 9 questions. Thank you, sit down. If I'm right, what I have understood, what your question is, there will be 9 questions. All the 9 questions should be answered in a sentence or 2, not more than 2 sentences.
My question was like there will be a question and in a bracket there will be a word like known. So for that you have to change the tense. So you have to write the full paragraph or only the word. The blanks.
No need to write, my dear. Except for linkers, you need not have to write any question. I forgot to tell you that. Why linkers? Because if your paper goes to, now people have changed. Earlier, 2 years ago, if your paper goes to Mangaluru and Mangaluru centers, they were very particular about linkers, where you have to write the entire question. Otherwise, you just try to write answers. Even for passive ones, was you mention the question number and write the answers. No need. Even for note making, you need not to draw boxes. Though the question mandates you to draw the boxes, you need not have to draw boxes. If you mention the correct question number, that's more than enough. They won't. You have to mention the correct question number.
Any other doubts?
See, I don't know. Boys and girls, thank you. Last one. I don't know whether you're familiar with this. Till last year, if you apply for a revaluation, if there was only change in plus 6 marks or minus 6 marks, that would reflect in your marks card. From last year, the Minister of Education has changed that even if there is a difference of 1 mark or 2 marks, that will reflect in your marks. So you will always have a choice to apply for revaluation. Therefore, if you write correct question number and only answers, that will be more than enough. You need not have to write, except for 4 marker and 3 markers, there is no need to write our answer in a paragraph. Even for 2 markers, if you write 2 phrases, that's more than enough. For example, there was a question I asked, which are the 2 things that Don Gonzalo took out from his pocket? You can write reading glass and a big pair of spectacles. If you can write like that, that's more than enough.
Any other doubts?
And last but not the least, for any 4 marker, you maintain the same tense. Tense must be same. If you begin, it's always preferred to answer all those questions 4 markers in past tense. It's not wrong to begin the paragraph in a present tense, but if you start with present tense, once till you switch to past tense, that the same tense should be maintained. Once you switch to past tense, the past tense should be there. No change of, tenses in between. You can do that. No need. That's what I show you. You're stepping out of the
Friends, I have 2 informations to pass on. One is webcasting, which is there in the examination from this year. Right? I hope all of you are familiar with. It is what is meant by that is we have a CC camera here, and this will be connected to master monitoring room at KSEAB. They can sit there in Bangalore city in the KSEAB office and observe what is happening in our college in each and every room. All our cameras will be connected to the monitor which is there, and there will be 20 to 30 teachers or experts, computer science experts who will be monitoring the people who are writing the examinations. Even if the teachers, if the college allows malpractice, the people here in Bangalore comes to know. Last year what happened in 10th examination is, before they tell that the people are been observing, already two teachers are debarred from the examination. They are simply asked to come out of the examination and ask the specific students to come out, and the papers have been taken out and they are taken by the people there in the who was in charge of it, and those teachers and the college has been banned for the conducting examination. Before they realize that something is going to happen, right? Please be aware of this. Please be aware of this, okay? And don't do any mischievous things, because you are not rating examination here, you will be rating somewhere else. In other college, maybe B&M or some other college. So please be aware of it, okay? Don't do any mischievous things. Even I could see that some of you, please.
My dear students, no lecturer or no official would be more aware of the webcasting than I am, because I work in a government college where you may be wondering, will there be any facilities? Government has sanctioned more than 3 lakhs to each government college to fully equip all the classrooms or all the rooms where the examination goes on. And webcasting is something very serious. As Sir said, more than 30, not more than 30, they will be under a, under the officer who would be of DD level, who is above the principal rank. 2 deputy directors in Ballari district were suspended in PU exam as well. And you know what? If a student frequently turns around, immediately his photo would be sent on WhatsApp to the principal. The principal would be asked, I have seen that my principal receives more than 30-35 photos every day on the examination day. He would be asked, a red shirt in room number 3, frequently turning around, please ask him to sit straight. There will be more than 4 teachers for every examination center. Their job is to go through all the web cameras frequently. 1. Number 2, apart from room invigilator, no one is allowed to enter the examination hall. Even we have seen that. Immediately the message comes. What is answer booklet custodian doing in the examination hall? Please call him out. So this exam is going to be very strict. Valuation would be a little liberal, but exams are going to be very strict. So, sir, sorry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the information, sir. This is what I wanted to put it across to you, so that you will be very, very cautious. And please see that your ID cards, admission ID cards, right? You might have scribbled sometimes, right? Yesterday, I saw an ID card of a girl, right? She has written something on the back. But in the examinations, if it has been found that any scribbling, it could be shorthand, right? Anything which is there on it will be considered as malpractice. And before entering the examination center, please check your pockets, wallets, etc. See that there is no manuscript there in your pocket. Anything pertaining to any subject for that matter, it could be Kannada or something else, right? Because they will not be knowing what it is, right? Any manuscript should not be there in the pocket, and if it is there, please send it over to the teacher and see that it is done. And the calculators, even in the calculators, right, you may have the habit of scribbling using pencil, right? You may not notice it because when the light shines on it, okay, people can see that, right? And you may not be aware of it. Please ensure that when you are taking the calculators, it is not allowed, right? Except for the statistics, there scientific calculators allowed. For other subject, no, the scientific calculators are not allowed, right? And please, another important thing that we have noticed is pen, right? The nature of the pen, right? When you write, the impression should not be there on the back of the sheet. And I have seen many a times mocked in your answer sheets as well, right? And it is your mentors and MTG teachers might have told you about this, right? Please see that you are using the pen which is not oozing the ink while writing it. Normally what happens while writing, you tend to cover the answers, and while writing you just scroll it down. And while scrolling it down, what will happen is the ink which is there will pulls down and it looks very ugly. And you have seen the answers which was awarded 4 out of 4, right? Have you seen any line on it? Have you seen any line? Anything which is scored it out, right? No. And we have seen, and we will share some of your friends' answer sheets itself. I have already showed, and the sir has showed some of your answer sheets, and some of yours also being given to the sir for his opinion, right? Okay, please, on that, on the basis of that, he has addressed you. Okay, please mind it. Keep this in mind. Ink is very important. The pen that you are choosing is very important, and don't try the pen at on the day of examination. Whatever the pen that you are practiced now to be taken, right? Okay, our same family. So if you are using one particular class, Reynolds, you use only that. Okay, Reynolds are the time tested pens that is available, and that is really good, right? So you can practice it with a pen and continue to do so in the examination. That's all. Another thing, on Sunday you are having the workshop. I repeat once again, I already told last yesterday, most of you were not there. The gentleman who is coming here is most sought after person, just like this gentleman. This the other gentleman who is coming there on the day, Sri Mahabali Shitunga, is the most sought after person. He is the person who has designed the syllabus, who has designed the question paper for many years. I know him for more than a decade, and he is a good friend of mine, and he is very, very busy. All the teachers of the state are being trained by him. All the teachers, mind it. All your teachers are, right? Even teachers have been sent for the training. He is the one who are trying, and he is quite busy. Since he knows me very well and we have a good rapport, requested him and he's agreed to come on Sunday. Don't miss that opportunity. Even the teachers who attended were telling me, sir, what a person he is. He knows in and out of it, that he could be able to tell the simplest tricks that could make the magic for the students, right? So you will have an opportunity to learn from him directly and interact with him. That's another thing. And please see that you will be participating, you will be attending that session. These are very, very essential and very important. And daily 7 days challenge is being thrown upon you, right? Make use of this. This has been done deliberately to make you to work on hard questions, paragraphs, and the things which are more difficult, right? What over the period of time, what is the difficulty that most of you have faced are being addressed by chapter wise, and see that we want to see that will be addressed by you. And if at all any questions are there before the commencement of examination, you can get it rectified from your teachers. That is the main intent behind it. And just to make you to be convenient to attend the program on Sunday, you have postponed the examination which was scheduled on the next day, right? It is for you only. It is for for reason, you have postponed that 6th examination to 15th, so that you have sufficient time to prepare for the next. So Monday you will not have examinations. Monday you do not have exam. The examination commences from Tuesday. Is it clear? So these are the two important things which I would like to pass it on. Please, Lord, utilize the opportunities and be a person who can win. And on January 15th, your send-off day would be there. Okay, as usual, we will send the circular. Okay, 15th is the day of send-off. Okay, 25th. Sorry. 25th, not 15th. Sorry, very sorry. Immediately after the examination, for you, the classes will continue. There will be question answers, interactions, it will be there. For the laboratory class, for revision classes will also happen to you, the computer science students. And in the last week of this month, you will be having the practical examination for the computer science students, right? And after that, second preparatory would be there along with the first year examination. Second preparatory, probably February 12th we commence. So it goes for another 7 days, and then holidays for your preparations. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to request Mrs. Manjurani ma'am to come and propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you is such a prayer that cannot be seen or touched. It must be felt by heart. I feel honored and privileged to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our distinguished guest, Mr. Deepak sir, who blessed us with his presence. Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable insights and expertise with us today. Thank you, sir. Today, my words are not enough to thank his constant guidance and support to shape at various stages. I, on behalf of English Department, convey deep regards and heartily thanks to our beloved director, Dr. Kumar H. Thank you, sir. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our beloved principal, Mr. Chetan, for supporting us. And I would also like to thank our beloved HOD ma'am, Mary Tarakan, for her moral support and guidance. Thank you, ma'am. If time is money, then today you have spent millions for us. Thank you to all of you for making this session successful. I am happy to express our gratitude for my colleagues who have supported us and made this session a grand success. Thank you, teachers. Finally, the wonderful students who have turned up in such a great numbers and participated actively and made this session more interactive and valuable. Thank you, students. Last but not the least, I would like to thank everyone who contributed to make this workshop a memorable and impact experience. Thank you, everyone.
One announcement. Sanskrit students are requested to attend the workshop in the afternoon. Please do make it important to attend.